Welcome back to the channel. It's not a response, it's Rob-sponse. Just really got back from going to the port. Again, I'm on a cruise going from Miami to Barcelona, Spain. It's a 14-day, 13-night cruise. And I'm really glad that I've gotten on this cruise because, again, I'm taking a hiatus, a little break from corporate America, had a separation from my job. So just today helped me to realize that it's really important that people take time to chase their dreams or chase their passions. I've been watching YouTube for years, right? But I guess specifically the last 3 years, I started watching a lot of travel YouTube. So Laura Williamson, Austin Holloman, Skylar the Ruin, Travelercity, other folks. And I really wanted to see more of the world myself. But as I said in some earlier videos, I didn't know how that would happen. I was in a 9-to-5, working up to 50 hours a week, could never ever accumulate enough PTO to imagine taking a 14-day cruise. And as I watched those videos back in 2023, 2024, it all seemed like an impossible dream. But because I kept watching YouTube videos and I would go on Safari on my iPhone or on Google Chrome on a tablet or my computer, and I would look up different countries and look at different maps, read different geopolitical news, and just maybe store all of this stuff in my subconscious memory bank or whatever you like to call it, in hopes that one day will be stuff that will be applicable, knowledge and facts and ideas I could actually use. And then, like I said, again, I'm calling it subconsciously manifesting. Also, I have faith. I believe in God above. But through subconscious focusing and having all those dreams and passions and information percolate in my subconscious area, I just gotta feel like eventually my faith through the universe made it happen. So I had a separation from my job, as I stated earlier, as I've been saying in other videos. And now, I have the wherewithal, due to the settlement severance, that now I can go see some of these places I was watching on YouTube. So again, I'm on a cruise. I'm headed from Miami to Barcelona. But today we stopped in Sint Maarten, which is an island, maybe 2 or 3 islands over from Puerto Rico in the Atlantic Ocean / Caribbean Sea. So we got off today on the port on Sint Maarten, and I ran into this couple. I will find out later that the gentleman, who is 72, and the wife, who is 74, Luigi and Marina, are actually from Italy, but they have homes in Italy, Switzerland, and Miami, Florida. And like I said before, the cruise left from Miami, Florida. So we're all standing in the area waiting for a taxi. The taxis were $7 to go to the city center of Philipsburg. So we're in Sint Maarten, Philipsburg. It's a port, in the Caribbean Sea, which our cruise ship, the MSC Grandiosa, was stopping at, like I said, on the way to Barcelona, Spain. So if you were to have 1 or 2 people in a taxi, it's $7. If you have 3 people in a taxi, it's $3 a piece. So we're all waiting, and the driver's like, yeah, you guys can all ride together. Even though we don't know each other, right? I don't know this 70-year-old Italian man. I don't know this 70-year-old Italian lady. But then the driver's like, yeah, you guys can all come in now, so it will be $3 a piece. So we all hop in there, and the next thing you know, we're all walking around downtown Philipsburg. He used to work with a telecommunications company. He works with a wine company now. His wife is retired. The wine company actually works with the Trump campaign and the Trump administration. As you know, President Trump wants to commemorate 250 years of American independence. So he actually helped design the wine bottles that are being used by the elites as they celebrate the 250th anniversary of American independence. So he actually has worked with Donald Trump. I have a picture of him with Dr. Donald Trump shaking hands as proof that he's actually been in the same room as the president. He actually says Donald Trump's a pretty down-to-earth guy. But again, we're not about politics. I'm just saying how crazy it is that a year or two ago, I was in a cubicle in a high-rise building, working every day, never imagining that I could be abroad, somewhere like Sint Maarten, which is a 3 or 4 hour flight from Miami, Florida. Could have never seen this happening 2 years ago. Maybe even a year ago. Could have never seen this happening. I always wanted to happen. I was subconsciously manifesting it. I was meditating, I was praying, hoping that one day I could go somewhere abroad. But I never actually knew how I could operationalize it, put it into operation, how I could use tangible means to get there, what an actual trip undertaking could be possible for me. So it's just crazy. Like I said again, this is my Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4th day out of 14 days. And every day I've met an incredible person. So I met 2 brothers and their mom from Ukraine who have an awesome backstory. I met an OG traveler from Texas, has an awesome backstory. I met an IT young lady who was laid off in Seattle, and now she's like me, taking the highest for corporate America. She's about to travel through Europe, maybe go to Thailand. Maybe we'll do some traveling together. We'll see. I don't know. It was just a conversation I had last night. I met another lady who's a teacher in Baltimore, and she had a little bit of time off. With teaching, you get a lot of breaks. So she used some of her PTO, some of that break time in order to take a cruise. But again, a year or two ago, when she was in the midst of a transition, she did house sitting and pet sitting, and she traveled through Paris and London. I met another lady. She's from the DMV, DC. She's a business owner, so she's able to travel quite a bit because she's an entrepreneur. I met another lady who's retired. She's from Columbus, Georgia. She's not far from Atlanta, and she had some free time, and she decided to go take this cruise to Barcelona. So there's great people. I met a professor from Wales. So again, I'm looking to go to Paris and London on the same trip. And then Wales is sort of in the western part of Great Britain. So you have England, and then Wales is west of England on the same attached island. He was like, yeah, you should maybe think about going to Wales. So again, he's a professor that works for the ship. The ship offers classes and learning experiences or excursions where you can have a lecturer show you around or teach you about intricate subject material. So Patrick is a lecturer for MSC Grandiosa. So again, just tons of people I've been meeting every day. And again, to be fair, when I used to drive Uber in Atlanta back in 2016, 2017, I would pick up very interesting people. And again, it just speaks to subconscious manifestation, right? I remember picking up 2 guys from India back in like 2016. It was just like amazing. Wow, 2 guys from India here in Atlanta. That's such a long trip. Wow, I couldn't imagine like going halfway across the world to go see something else. And now I'm on the precipice of doing that. Because again, after Europe, you might find me in Southeast Asia. You might find me in Australia. You might find me in Africa. But South America is halfway around the world, but it's still a pretty good distance. And again, things that a year ago I definitely couldn't have seen happening, and probably not even 6 months ago I could have really seen happening. So God is good. My faith, just working through my subconscious manifestation. And when I say subconscious manifestation, it's just you focus on stuff, you think about stuff, it's your passion, it's your dream. You don't make it your primary focus. It's not your primary meditation. But because you're always wanting to do those things, you have those passions, they're percolating, they're sort of brewing like a coffee pot. The idea, the passion, the idea is just brewing and trying to find a way to take root, trying to find a way to be implemented. And then, here I am now. Like I said, again, I just got back onto the cruise ship. We're here in my cabin. And again, just thinking about how God is great and amazing, and this is a wonderful opportunity. And I'm at the beginning of it. There's a lot more story to tell, and I'm just going to share it. I'm just a kid from Detroit, man. I grew up in Southwest Detroit. So if you watch BMF on Stars, Big Beach and everybody, they were selling drugs and shooting people 2 blocks from where I grew up. I was 8, 9 years old, so I had no idea what was going on. But it's going to show you, a kid from Southwest Detroit, a block or 2 from Ecorse, River Rouge, He's about to go to Barcelona, Spain, man. This is a kid from Detroit, bro. But at any point, I would just encourage everybody to, if you have dreams of traveling or seeing different cultures, meeting different people, whether you fly, whether you take a cruise, heck, whether you drive. You can drive from Canada to the U.S., to Mexico, to Guatemala, to Belize. At a certain point, we get past Panama, there's like a big joint you can't drive through, so you can't really drive to Colombia. You can't drive to South America necessarily. But if you wanted to just drive and you were curious about different cultures in North America, you could do that. But yeah, fly or cruise or however. And again, I cruise because, again, I have the time now, right? I'm on a hiatus from corporate America. Plus, with all of these delays, the Department of Homeland Security not having the funding and flights getting canceled, particularly a month or so ago, I was like, let me just cruise, not to deal with all that. I got the time. I've never been able to cruise, so why not? So that's why I ended up cruising. But I could have very well flown to Europe. But yeah, just if you have dreams, like Laura Williamson says, chase your dreams, man. If you have passions and you want to do stuff, life needs to be lived, And people always say, don't say life is short, because then you're speaking into existence. But life can be great. Life should be long. Life should be fulfilling. And if you feel like with America right now, you want to see something else, you want to experience something else, at least subconsciously manifest if you can't make active plans on how to see something else beyond, your city. Or in the case of Detroit, there's so many Detroiters who have never been to the West Side. Like, they'll grow up on the East Side. Like, they've never been to the West Side. I don't know anything about past Woodward. I don't know what Southfield is. I don't know what Farmington is. I don't know what Bluefield Hill is. I just know my little area of Detroit. And the same thing in Atlanta. There's people who, I've never left Campbellton Road. I've never gone past Boulder Crest. Johns Creek, what's that? Carrollton, Georgia. What? University of West Georgia. I could imagine, leaving like metropolitan, and going over there. So if you want to dream big, dream big and dream past your block, past your city, past your state, past your country. Because again, I've always been interested in geography. And like I said, the last 3-4 years, I've especially been interested in like traveling outside the United States. Got my passport in 2024. And I just want to go see stuff, man. The world is big. It's amazing. And what I'm emphasizing in this video is you'll meet some amazing people along the way if you just dare to take that journey outside your block. Now, a response. It's a Rob-sponse. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.